Namaste, namaste, and welcome to this short video practice of yoga. Today is the first practice in a series that I'm doing of shorts all about the sun salutation, but how to add to it or to use it as a base from which to move into other areas of the body or to make a complete practice. In this case, today's video is about that, making a complete practice out of the sun salutation. So you'll be familiar with the sun salutation. It's mostly forwards and backwards movements of the spine, some movements through the hips, but in a very linear fashion. So today we're going to add things to the sun salutation that provide a side bend and a twist, mostly from a lunge position. So at the front of my mat, I've got two blocks, which are just to give the floor a little bit of lift. I've got short arms for my torso, or at least that's my excuse, I'm sticking to it. And I've also got a soft block to put underneath a knee for the knees that are down. I have a little one sensitive knee, so sometimes it's quite nice to do that. If you would like to, you can double mat or put a folded mat in the center of your mat, which would also work well. So when you're ready, come and join me on your mat and we'll do a very short, quick warm up just to wriggle out any tension before we begin. So feet wide, nice and soft in the knees, that centered lift engaging through the belly muscles and a gentle twist from side to side. I have to admit, I start most practices with Kati Chakrasana. I find it a really nice way to drop into grounding the feet and to find a little bit of release through the back of the body particularly, and the shoulders as well. And here we're continuing to engage gently through the center of the body, through the core muscles, drawing the belly muscles inwards and upwards, and gently lifting the pelvic floor. And then when you're ready, you can gently pivot on your toes, just freeing up the hips to move a little bit more as well. If you want to add a touch more, you can softly bounce, bending the knees in the center and twisting, touching the opposite shoulder in front of you, opposite hip behind, continuing to engage those belly muscles. And actually, you may be able to move your awareness into the back of the body and feel the muscles in the back of the body and perhaps the sides of the body switching on as well. When you're ready, you can let your bounce go, simply pivot for a few moments, and then bring your feet to steadiness and sway back slowly to center. When you come to center, just standing tall, rolling the shoulders a few times, maybe gently drawing the chin towards the chest and the chin up towards the ceiling as you roll. And we'll go the opposite way as well. Again, lifting and lowering the head if it feels good to you. When you're ready, you can organize your shoulders into position and just bring your hands together, interlacing the fingers, and make figure of eights with your hands so that you can warm through your wrists. And then we're also going to bring the hands together into Namaste, and then draw the right fingertips back towards the body, just easing into the right forearm here. We want to keep the shoulders down. Try not to lift the shoulders, but you can gently pulse your elbow perhaps a little bit straighter, a little bit more bent, just to feel into that length. And then from center to the other side, just a gentle pulsing as you draw the fingertips back towards the body. And oftentimes wrist sensitivity is quite a complex matter. It's often to do with your shoulders and shoulder openness. But it can also be just because the tendons across the wrist are a little bit tight as well. So that helps to release them out. And now we're going to come to the front of the mat and do our first sun salutation. So on our first round, we're primarily limbering. That's our continuation of our limber. And so we'll go through it nice and slowly. This is a traditional sun salutation, loosely. So it is not a sun salute A or B, which you find in Ashtanga yoga, but it's very similar in movements. So coming to the front of your mat, Feet nice distance apart for you, turning the palms forward, dropping the fingertips down and lengthening the crown of the head up. Just engaging gently across the center and having that sense of control in the center. Breathe in here. And we'll breathe out again just to start. And as you breathe in, take the arms around the body, looking up, drawing the palms towards each other, and breathing out, draw the palms down to the center of the chest. As you breathe in, reach the arms straight up, and then open the front of the body by squeezing the buttocks and drawing the shoulder blades towards each other. Maybe the hands travel a little bit behind the body. As you breathe out, folding forward from your hips, a little soft in the knees, taking the hands towards the feet and the head towards the knees. Relax the back of your neck. Here on our first round, we're just going to spend a little bit of time in this forward bend. And you might like to gently pulse one knee straight and then the other. You might like to gently turn the head from side to side. That's a neck movement we haven't yet done. You might like to draw the arms towards each other, holding elbow to elbow, keeping the hips nice and steady, and gently sway the upper body from side to side, all the while engaging through the belly muscles, relaxing through the back of the neck. You don't have to make a big movement. You can simply hold stillness if you prefer. And then when you're ready, you can take a deep breath in and step the right foot back as far as it goes. I'm going to pop a little bit of support underneath that right knee and bring my blocks into play. So here I want to begin to lengthen the left leg by dropping the hips back towards the heels and then press through that right foot to bring the hips a little bit forward, opening the chest, opening the space across the front of the shoulders as well. So gently pressing the hips back a little bit and forwards a little bit. Now I have deliberately come to the mat without warming up today so that it feels more like what you guys would be going through, coming to the mat also perhaps not warm. But what we want to avoid is hanging out at the end range of movement forward. It's not terribly helpful, but we can hang out back here and just give our hips a little bit of a wiggle. Continuing to feel the support in the legs. That back toe can be tucked flat if it's more comfortable for your feet. It's not a problem at all. And then when you're ready, coming forward, we're going to get rid of this support from underneath the knee, place the hands flat and come into plank pose. Traditionally in plank, the breath is held, but keep your breath just in its natural rhythm. Here we can play with the level of the hips. The hips can come up a little, switch on your belly muscles, and then hips down a little, switch on your buttocks, and then pressing the heels away. See if you can press the mat away from you and just find a nice straight plank position. And then from here, knees, chest, forehead or chin to the floor, Ashtanga, 8-limb stick. Point your toes, roll the shoulders towards each other, roll the shoulder blades, towards each other. Gentle breath in as you come into cobra, nice low cobra here. And then through hands and knees, taking the hips towards the heels and then pressing the hips up. Maybe step your feet in just a touch in your downward facing dog. A nice lift in the tailbone. And we're walking the dog here. We want to ease into this movement. So again, you might turn the head from side to side. Remember to press through the hands, to press the chest towards the thighs. And thinking about lengthening the body from the crown of the head to the tailbone, rather than thinking about the arms being particularly straight or the legs being particularly straight. It's the center of the body which we want to find length in. When you're ready, you can come up onto both tiptoes and then just explore where your heels naturally get to. You can still keep your knees soft here. It's not about strain, it's about finding what feels to your body like a natural place to be. And then to come forward on the first round, you can come to hands and knees and step your right foot forward. I'm just going to pop that support under the left knee. Bring your blocks into play in your lunge again, and we're gently swinging the hips backwards and forwards. And here, it's all about exploring the range of movement you naturally have, not about getting further, just moving within that space. This is perhaps the motion that you don't do very much in your everyday life. So it takes a few rounds, a few breaths, a few goes to really open the body and be able to practice at perhaps the place that you would like to get to. Who knows? The next time your hips are back, just allowing the hips to rest back and wiggling the hips from side to side. Doesn't matter how straight the front leg is. Obviously, the straighter you feel comfortable working, the more different the sense of length is. When you're ready, you can free the hands from the blocks and just free the back knee, get a little buoyancy between the 2 feet so you can lightly step your left foot forward and find that forward bend again. And we'll take a deep breath in and sigh out here. As you sigh out and release all that air, gently draw the belly muscles in. See if you can allow your body to hang just a little deeper towards the full crown of the head, perhaps pointing towards the floor. And then to come up, I'm going to look forward first. So you've opened the chest, reach the arms out, bend your knees to drop your bottom, press through the feet to power yourself up to standing, reach the arms overhead, and finish with the hands together at the center of your chest. Release your hands down, standing nice and tall. If ever I have not said a breath, please continue to breathe normally. If I said hold the breath in plank and then I don't say any other breath, it's not because I wish you to hold your breath the whole time. It is one of those things with teaching, whether you stipulate the breath or not. I used to stipulate the breath all the time because I thought it was easier for people to add it when they were ready. But now I think maybe people should breathe the way they want to breathe. So I might do a bit of both, see how you go. Standing in your Tadasana, I might step back just a touch here, turning the palms forward and lengthening the fingertips down, the crown of the head up. Take a deep breath in and out. Then as you breathe in, take the arms around the body, lifting the belly, lifting the chest, breathing out, palms together at the center of your chest. On your next breath in, reaching the arms up again, this time drawing the shoulder blades towards each other, firming the buttocks, maybe opening the front of your body, maybe looking up a little. And as you exhale, folding forward from the hips, nice and soft in the knees, on the way down to your forward bend. In your forward bend, let your breath find its natural rhythm and just play with the weight of your body in the heels and the toes of the feet. So I'm really slowly pulsing my knees as well, bending one knee and then the other, as I just rock the weight of my body across the feet from heels to toes. Using a little bit of fingertip support on the floor or on your blocks if you've got them handy. Very good. And then in the center, just see if you can find your weight on the center of the foot, relaxing the back of the neck and the shoulders, taking a deep breath in, scoop your belly in, and then sigh out. And then from here, we're stepping the left knee back as far as it will, left foot, sorry, back as far as it goes, left knee onto the support, and using your blocks, again, just swinging the hips backwards and forwards. Now I tend to lift the toes of my front foot on the first round that I do this, and now I'm going to try and keep my toes down towards the mat, which provides a different kind of opening across the ankle and a little different sensation of length through particularly the low part of the leg. The next time your hips are back, just giving the hips a little wiggle from side to side. Again, it feels differently with the foot in that different position. And then removing the block underneath the knee, stepping into plank pose. In your plank pose, maybe widen your feet. Often people step into a really narrow foot position. Press your heels away from you, press the mat away from you, really engage with your arms. They don't need to be straight, but really pressing the mat away from you, lifting the body as high as you can, scooping the belly in. Keep your head in a very neutral position for your neck. And then when you're ready, exhaling, knees, chest, forehead or chin to the floor. Point your toes, let your hips come down, press the feet, the pubic bone into the floor, firm the belly, the buttocks, and the space between the shoulder blades, and lift into cobra. Gentle breath in here. And as you breathe out, hands and knees, and into downward facing dog, allow your breath to find its natural rhythm. In sun salutations, our hands should stay where we put them when we come down into that forward bend. But the feet can move, and in downward dog, often it's better to step your feet in, particularly if your plank is quite long or if your lunges have been quite long. So here, pressing the chest towards the thighs, thinking about pressing even into the fingertips. You can play around with where the shoulders, where the elbows are. So you might roll your inner elbows towards each other. You might find that gives you some feeling of stability down the sides of the body, particularly just below the shoulders. If it doesn't work for you, you don't have to do that. Maybe a little turn of the head from side to side, little pulse of the knees. And then when you're ready, you can come onto both tiptoes, tip your tailbone as high as you can, both heels towards the floor, just exploring whether you've found a little bit more length. Hopefully you can notice the difference. And then knees down to the mat, maybe placing your support underneath your right knee as you step your left foot forward. We'll take our blocks again, keeping that front toes pointing towards the mat as we swing the hips backwards and forwards. Trying to find that different sensation of length across the ankle, across the calf. Maybe you feel it even up into your thigh. And this is a really nice one. It took me a while to get used to doing this, but now I do it. I have so few problems with my hips where I used to have maybe the odd niggle. So next time your hips are back, doing a little gentle wiggle of the hips from side to side. And wiggling is really good. Holding a posture static can sometimes cause more tension than it releases. When you're ready, coming back into that lunge, removing your, oh, actually we can leave that there, can't we? Step the right foot forward and come into your forward bend. Give yourself a few moments here to wriggle out anything that needs wriggling, maybe a gentle nod or shake of the head. Scooping your belly in as you breathe in, sighing deeply out. And then to come up, look forward, lift the arms, open the chest, drop your bottom, press through the legs to stand all the way tall, and bring the palms down to the center of the chest as you exhale. Release the arms for a moment. I'm going to adjust my clothing because it always seems to travel. And just take a moment to feel the effect of that limbering round. So one to the right, one to the left. Hopefully you feel like now that your body is warming, it's becoming more open, it's ready for more action. So the block I have under my knee on my right side is ready for my right side to step back into. I'm still going to use the blocks under my hands in this lunge, but only to provide a gentle lift to come up. So coming into Tadasana, turning the palms forward, dropping the fingertips down, lengthening through the crown of the head, gently engaging across the belly, breathing in and out. As you breathe in, take the arms around the body and look up. As you breathe out, draw the palms to the center of the chest. As you breathe in, reach the arms up. The arms are coming back to open the chest. The head doesn't travel back. And then as you breathe out, folding forwards from your hips, a little soft in the knees as you come into your forward bend. Relax the back of your neck and then breathe in as you step your right foot back, knee down, and take your hands onto your blocks again. So here we're going to press into both feet and just give ourselves a little lift. We don't really want to be super forward in our lunge here. We want to be maybe somewhere centered between the legs, not as far forward as we can go. So the blocks are here to help us open the chest. We want to have that sense of using the space between the shoulder blades to draw the chest open and create length down the front of the body, particularly, maybe even a little bit over this right hip flexor. And we can tuck the tailbone under just gently to improve that sensation. So taking a deep breath in, deep breath out, and then we're going to come into plank pose, hands to the mat and stepping the left foot back. So here in plank pose again, we're just holding as we breathe normally, pressing the mat away, scooping the belly in, firming the buttocks, pressing the heels away as well, and then knees, chest, chin to the floor. Exhaling as you come down, roll the shoulder blades towards each other, firm the buttocks, and come into a low cobra, but maybe just a touch higher. So instead of having no effort in the hands, maybe a little bit of effort in the hands, we want to do cobra in a way that we don't feel pinched in the low back. And we do that by pressing the tops of the feet to the floor, pressing the pubic bone down, and really engaging with the buttocks and the legs, rolling the shoulder blades towards each other, and let your head be at a point that makes the neck an extension of the spine. So it doesn't hang and you don't have your chin super lifted. Just nice and long. When you're ready, releasing down, forehead to the floor, and then we're coming through hands and knees for those who would like to, into downward facing dog, maybe stepping the feet in, giving yourself a little wiggle in your down dog. So we're going to do the first of our side bending options in down dog. It's a really nice practice. We're going to take the feet nice and wide, come up onto our tiptoes, and drop the heels to the left side. So the heels, we're on the outside edge of the left foot, inside edge of the right foot, but the shoulders are still pretty square. And then here we're going to bend the knees deeply and then straighten the legs. Bend the knees deeply, straighten the legs. This is a squatting dog. Neck is nice, relaxed, but you are nice and stretched across your right side. After 3 or 4, coming back onto your tiptoes, let's do the same thing to the other side. So heels drop down to the right. You're on the outside edge of the right foot, inside edge of the left foot, and you're really square through the shoulders, and then bending the knees deeply and straightening the legs. You don't have to go all the way straight. Bend and lengthen. Think about pressing your hands into the mat, keeping your neck nice and relaxed, and just feeling that length down the left side of the body. When you're ready, coming back to the center, and then just on tiptoes, let your heels come down towards the mat. And from here, through hands and knees, if that feels good, to step your right foot forward. We're going to keep the left hand down, and it could be on a block, it could be flat, it could be a fist or fingertips, whatever works for you. And we're just going to let the hips come forward a little bit and turn to that right side. It's the first of our twists. And here, we're going to focus on opening across the shoulders by reaching the right arm up and seeing just if we can ease that right hand a little bit more open to really open here in the chest. And that's all we're doing. That right arm comes down, doesn't go anywhere else. We're reaching the right arm up, pressing into the left hand, thinking about using that space between the shoulder blades, keeping the legs nice and strong, the belly nice and strong, and reach down. One more time. Reaching up, opening, and releasing down. And then here we're freeing the back knee, just finding that buoyancy across the 2 legs so we can lightly step the left foot forward and find our forward bend. Deep breath in, hold the belly in, deep breath out. And then to come up, look forward, reach the arms wide, drop your bottom, breathing in as you stand up, opening the chest, breathing out, palms together at the center of the chest. Release the arms, stand in Tadasana for a deep breath in, deep breath out. And breathe in, take the arms around the body and up. Breathing out, palms together at the center of the chest. Breathe in, take the arms straight up and opening the chest, firming the buttocks, firming that space between the shoulder blades. Breathing out as you fold forward from the hips, hands to the feet, head to the knees. Breathe in as you step the left foot back. Take your knee to the mat and just breathe normally. Bring your blocks into play again and try to find that upright lunge that's not as far forward as you can go, but is supported by both legs. Doesn't matter if the back toes are tucked under or tucked straight or tucked flat, but we want to find that it's not quite a neutral upright position, maybe just slightly further forward, tucking the tailbone under, bringing the blocks underneath the arms. If it's useful for support, you can, of course, just hold this without the blocks if you prefer. My arms are so short that I prefer to hold it without the blocks, I think. And then we're just using that space between the shoulder blades to open the chest and holding as we breathe. When you're ready, you can take your hands down to the mat, find your plank pose by stepping your right foot back. And we want a strong plank pose here. So we're pressing the heels away, pressing the mat away, firming the buttocks and the belly. And here the shoulder blades have actually glided up a little bit, perhaps. They don't have to be super down. And then we're knees, chest, chin to the floor, or knees, chest, forehead if you prefer. Find your toes and hips flat, roll the shoulder blades towards each other, firm the buttocks, and come perhaps a little higher into your cobra. So each time you can have a gentle opening, discover what additional space there is, maybe just as the body becomes stronger and more prepared, and then reaching all the way down. Through hands and knees if you need to, or if you prefer, and into downward facing dog. And here in downward dog, we're just gently paddling the heels, one and then the other. We're going to do our squatting dogs again. So find a nice wide foot position. We're going to come up onto the tiptoes of both feet and then drop the heels down to the right side first. We still want to press the chest towards the thighs here, still have that lift in the tailbone, and then bending the knees deeply and straightening the legs. Nice and relaxed in the neck. You can even give it a little turn. We're going to do 3 of these, so just one more. And then coming back onto the tiptoes, chest towards thighs, and dropping the heels down to the left. And bend the knees deeply, straighten the legs. It probably doesn't feel quite as lengthening on this second round because we've done it once before and the body is finding a space. When you're ready, coming back onto your tiptoes, and you can either step the left foot forward or come through hands and knees to find your lunge again. Use a block under your left hand if it's useful. I prefer to just sort of rest I might use it actually today. Why not? Okay, we're going to let our hips come forward into the lunge, not as much perhaps as we can, but to a supported point. Back toes can be flat if you like. Reach the left arm up to the left, and then here we're using that space between the shoulder blades to see if we can draw the left hand just that little bit further round. Legs are strong, belly is strong, and release that left hand down to your left ankle and go again. Pressing into the legs, finding that lift, that rotation, that length in the spine, and gently releasing down. Last time. Opening, nice twisting position, and lengthening as you release. When you're ready, you can free your back knee, just find a bit of buoyancy across the feet, so lightly step the right foot forward. Hold your forward bend for a deep breath in, and a deep breath out. For those of you who can touch the floor easily in your forward bends, you can turn the backs of the hands to the floor. You can use your blocks to do that as well, if you prefer. When you're ready to come up, inhale as you look forward, bend the knees, drop the bottom, reach the arms wide, reach the arms over the head, and exhale as you draw the hands down to the center of your chest. Relax your arms down. Take a moment. Okay, take a couple of deep breaths between rounds. Here, we are adding extras, and that means that it's a little bit more challenging than the average sun salutation. We don't need to rush through it. Actually, fast practice means that we perhaps miss some of the nuances of alignment and strength and stability that we get with a more steady practice. So by all means, do a few fast rounds if you like, but here today, just taking it easy, giving yourself a few breaths, noticing the effect of each progressive round. We're only going to do one more anyway. Okay, because it's a short practice, otherwise I'd be here all day and you guys would be bored. So we're just rearranging clothing, getting ready for our final round. We're going to add a few little extra bits and pieces here. So coming to the front of your mat, turning the palms forward, dropping the fingers down, lengthening through the crown of the head. Take a deep breath in and out here. Then inhale as you take the arms around the body and up. Exhale as you draw the palms down to the center of your chest. From here, straight back up again, nice and firm in the legs, the belly, and opening the chest. Exhaling as you fold forward. Little softness in the knees. It's actually better to find length in the hamstrings. And then stepping back with the right foot as far as you go, let your breath find its natural rhythm. And we're going to press into the feet to bring ourselves into an upright lunge. And you can, if you want, put the blocks that you've got either side of your hips rather than at the front of your mat. Maybe you'll need them, maybe not. So I'm just going to pop this underneath my right knee as well. Actually, I think that would be a bit kinder to my body. So here we're trying to press the feet into the mat and away from each other to create that real stability, really active legs. So we're not just hanging out here, they are the foundation from which we can move. We've got a gentle tuck under of the tailbone for most people. If you don't then have a sensation of length here, don't try to over tuck. So it's just a gentle tuck. You might prefer to tuck out if it suits your body better. Wherever you feel you can engage across your core, then that's the movement to do. I'm going to tuck my back toe flat on this side because that toe doesn't like being tucked under too much. And then we're going to just gently breathe in as we take the arms up and breathe out as we draw the shoulders down. Now, if you can get your arms quite narrow either side of your head, then that's great. But if not, just open your arms wider or have your hands slightly in front of you and work to gently open that space across the chest by using the shoulder blades. We're going to hold as we breathe in and as we breathe out. Then we're going to do a little bit of side bending. So we're going to take the left hand down on the left side. You've got a block there to rest on and reach the right arm over. We don't want to let the hips come more forward. We just want to keep this sort of more neutral upright stance, and that should increase the sensation of length across your right hip. And then come back to the center, same thing on the other side, reaching the right hand down and the left arm over. Very nice. And then coming back to the center, we're going to do a little twist. I'm going to twist first to the right, reach the left hand forward and the right hand backwards. And here we're using the strength of our upper body to make that twist, but you might not twist very far, and that's okay. We're going to come back to the center, arms lifted, and then twist to the left. And this might feel a little bit more natural. And then we're going to come back to the center, arms lifted. And we're going to reach the right hand behind the body, just to the low back. And then lengthen the body back as we reach the left hand behind us, nice and firm in buttocks and belly. And then come back to an upright position. Reach the hands all the way forward, lengthening the front leg. Maybe even lifting the left toes. Maybe giving the hips a little bit of a wiggle. And then we're going to step into plank pose. So come back to your lunge, maybe a little block to one side, stepping into plank pose. Here in plank, you've got an opportunity to do an extra bit if you want. You do a little side plank. So we cut our feet nice and wide apart, drop the heels down to the left, lift the right arm up. Now, if that doesn't feel like super stable, you can drop your left knee to the floor as well. And you can even reach the right arm over. It's a little bit like a wild thing. You can have one foot on top of the other as well, if you like. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. So coming back through plank, and then tipping the heels to the right, lifting the left arm up, drawing the shoulder blades towards each other if you need to, just stepping that right knee to the floor. You can reach the left arm, over the head to provide a bit more length if you wish to. Going back to your side plank, coming back to your standard plank, and then knees, chest, chin to the floor. Take the hands nice and wide, forehead to the floor. Roll the shoulder blades towards each other, come up into a wide-armed cobra. And here on this side, all we're going to do is sway the chest a little from side to side. Firm in the feet, the belly, the buttocks. And opening that space across the shoulders as well. I mean across the chest, but with the shoulders. And then when you're ready, coming back to center, releasing all the way down, hands back onto the mat, tucking the toes under, hips up, heels down, all through hands and knees into downward facing dog. Take a few deep breaths here, wriggle through your dog, And if you wish to here, you can do a three-legged dog. So that's completely nice to have. If you want to take a rest in child's pose, you can do that. Feet come together, ease the heels towards the floor, point the right toe back. We're going to press the chest towards the thighs and lift the right leg up. We want the right leg to be up, but the hips to be generally squarish. And then roll the right hip on top of the left hip, bend the right knee, flex the right foot if you wish to. You don't have to do that overly much if it causes cramp. And then try to take the knees apart from each other as you continue to press the chest towards the thighs, pressing into the fingertips. Nice deep breath. Maybe a gentle shake of the head, and then lengthening the right leg, drawing the right hip back to a square, come onto the ball of the left foot and see if you can step your right foot all the way forward. If not, come through hands and knees, no problem at all. So here I'm going to take my right foot a little bit out to the right, and I'm going to rest my left arm a little bit to the left. So I've got a bit more space between the legs than I normally do. This you can either do with the knee up or the knee down. Let's do both, why not? So knee down first, we're just going to open our chest towards the right side, maybe lengthening a little bit that right knee away from us. So it depends what room you've got. I don't have a lot of room in my hips in this direction. Some people might roll onto the outside edge of their foot. I find that if I'm hanging out here, it doesn't feel strong. So I prefer to keep my foot centered. You can do what suits you. And then here, we're going to reach the right arm up, just as we did on our previous round, drawing the shoulder blade back to open the chest, find that rotation through the upper body, and then take the elbow to the ankle. Slide it down from the knee to the ankle. If you can get it on the floor, that's great. If not, stop wherever you get to, don't force or strain. And then coming back up again, opening the chest. That engagement behind the shoulder is really what we're after. And then right elbow to right knee, slide it down the calf or the shin towards the ankle. And one more time, we're reaching up and open and then sliding down. Very good. And then try this with the back leg extended. So we're pressing into the heels. The legs are really buoyant, really strong, very active. We're reaching the right arm up to open the chest and then bringing the elbow to the inside of the leg and sliding it down towards the ankle. Let's do two more. Opening and sliding all the way down. Opening and sliding knee to ankle. And then when you're ready, just bringing your right foot in a little, finding a bit of buoyancy between the two legs so you can lightly step your left foot forward. Find your forward bend, hold a little bit elbow to elbow, give yourself a little wriggle, or you can fingertip touch to the floor if you prefer. A gentle nod or shake of the head. Scoop your belly in, take a deep breath in, sigh out. To come up, look forward, reach the arms wide, drop your bottom, open your chest, press through the legs to stand tall, and breathing out as you bring the hands to the center of your chest. Relax your arms down, just take a moment. So these deep lunge rotations can seem really challenging at first. So don't worry if you've got your knee down or if you've got your leg extended, if you're getting nowhere near the floor. Actually, the open part is the bit that really helps to create legs to come forwards. And it comes with time and with practice. And the more you do it, the better it will get. Super stuff. I'm just going to swap my knee support to the other side while I'm here. And we can do our final bit on the left-hand side. So standing tall, turning the palms forward, dropping the fingertips down, lengthening through the crown of the head. Deep breath in. As you breathe out, palms together at the center of the chest. Oh no, breathe in, take the arms around the body. Breathing out, palms together, center of the chest. And then from here, reaching up, opening the front of the body. And as you fold forward, exhaling, drawing the arms around the body, soft in the knees as needed. Step back with your left leg as far as it goes, and just taking your knee to the mat or your support, making sure your blocks are in place either side of your hips, and you're in your lovely upright lunge. Let your breath flow into whatever rhythm suits you. So we want to find that place in the lunge where we're not as far into the lunge as we can go, a little bit more supported, gentle tuck under of the tailbone for those who find that useful, but really pressing the feet into the mat and away from each other so the legs are strong and active. We're going to take the arms around the body, reaching the arms up, and then draw the shoulders down to open your chest. Here, you might have your arms a little bit wider if that helps for your shoulders. And then we're going to breathe in and out. Then taking your right hand down on your right side, just to wherever the block is, reaching the left arm up and over. So you do this nice little side bend whilst in your lunge, nice firm through the belly. And then coming back to the center, do the same thing to the left, reaching over to the left, nice side bend, really reaching that arm as far as you can to find length down the right side of the body. Back to the center, both arms up. We're going to twist to the left first. So the right arm goes forward, the left arm goes backwards. The shoulders are turning with the power of the upper body. We come back to the center, and then we twist in the opposite direction. Might feel a bit more natural to twist this way in this position. And then back to the center. And then here we take the left hand around the body to the low back, and pressing into the legs, firming the buttocks and the belly, reach the right arm over and opening the chest. And then reaching the right hand forward, we're going to let the hips come back a little bit, lengthen through that right leg, maybe draw the hips quite low if it feels good to you, and then come back to upright. Just going to move the blocks out of the way, and we'll step into plank pose. Wonderful stuff. And then here in plank, we can do side planks again. And you might choose a different variation. I'm going to drop my heels to the left, lift my right hand up, but then put my right foot on top of my left, really lifting the body away from the floor. If you'd like to, you can lift that top leg as well. Requires a bit of balance. Very good. And then coming back to center. Nice and firm through the center, feet are still wide, dropping the heels to the right, lifting the left arm up. If you like, you can slide that left foot on top of the right. And again, if you like, you can lift that left leg up. Breathing, and when you're ready, releasing back to plank. From plank, knees, chest, forehead, or chin to the floor. Allow yourself a moment to rest down, forehead down, and take the hands nice and wide. Press the pubic bone down, firm the feet, firm the buttocks, roll the shoulder blades towards each other, and when you're ready, come up into your wide-armed cobra. And you can continue to just gently sway from side to side, or gently go up and down. Or if you prefer, you can draw your left shoulder towards the center and turn to the right, and then come through center and take the right shoulder to the center, turning to the left. And as we go from side to side, we want to keep that openness across the chest. The elbows are moving backwards, not outwards or forwards. I really love this. We're going to do one more to each side. Last one. If you find press-ups quite toughy, but you find cobra push-ups easier, then you'll develop this very similar sort of upper body strength. When you're ready, coming all the way down, hands underneath the shoulders, tucking the tucking the toes, hips up, heels down, all through hands and knees into downward facing dog. And here it's our last down dog of the day, so just take a moment to give yourself a wiggle of any wiggles that feel good before we do our three-legged variation, if you did it on the other side. And then when you're ready, feet together, dropping the heels towards the mat, pressing the chest towards the thighs. We're going to lift the left leg up long and straight. Just keep the hips a little bit square to begin with, making sure you've got nice strength and support from the back of the body, and then roll the left hip on top of the right hip. Bend the left knee, flex through the foot if it feels good. Take the knees apart from each other. Keep pressing the chest towards the thighs. Keep thinking about pressing into the fingertips. And when you're ready, you can lengthen that leg. Drop your hip to a more neutral spot. If you wish to, come up onto your tiptoes, your right tiptoes, and step your left foot forward. And here, We'll start with the right knee down. I won't bother with support, I think. And we're going to take the right hand a little wider, the left foot a little wider. So we've got more space here at the front, and draw the hips forward, gently using the left hand to open the chest towards the left side. And find perhaps a little bit of ease of that left thigh away from the body as well. This is technically lizard pose. Super. And then here we do those deep lunge rotations. So reaching the left arm up to open your chest, really engaging behind the body, and then the left elbow to the inside of the left knee, just sliding it down the inside of the leg and see if it reaches the floor. And then coming up again, opening, and remembering that as you come down towards the floor, it doesn't matter where you get to, as long as you feel like you're supported, and you work to get a little bit closer over time. It might take some weeks or months, but most people get there eventually. When you've done 3 with the knee down, you can lift your back knee and just making sure your position feels good again, lifting the left arm up to open through the body, and then elbow to the inside of the left knee, sliding it down towards the floor. Reaching up and open, really firm in the legs, the belly, and reaching down. One last time, open and reaching towards the floor. And then from here, just bringing your leg in a little bit, little buoyancy across the legs to step forward with the right foot. I'm going to take my feet really, really wide as my mat. And then here hanging, holding elbow to elbow and doing a little gentle sway from side to side. So we've included most things in our practice. We do a little nodding, a little shaking of the head if it feels good. If you prefer not to hold elbow to elbow, just take the backs of the hands towards the floor. And then if you wish to, you can gently bend one knee and then the other, just allowing the hips to sway to one side and then the other, just to open up a little bit of space in the inner thighs, the abductors. If you need to be a little bit wider to do that, you can take your feet a little bit wider to do that. So using this forward bending opportunity to wriggle any last bits that need wriggling. And then when you're ready, we're actually going to jump the feet onto the mat and just squat down over our knees so that we're in almost like a tiptoe child's pose. So chin towards chest, just rounding forward. So if you want to, you can stand straight up from here, or you can take the hands to the center of the chest. So you can either do a forward bend, and roll up from there, or hands to the center of the chest and then press through the tiptoes to come all the way up to standing. Finish by taking a deep breath in, arms around the body to look up, and deep breath out as you draw the palms to the center of your chest. When you come to this moment of stillness, perhaps allowing the arms to rest down, closing the eyes or gazing at one spot and softening the eyelids. Observe the effect of your practice. Whenever you feel ready, you can bring the palms to the center of the chest. With a little lift of the chest, take your chin only towards your chest. Gentle length, give yourself a gentle smile, and when you're ready, raising your head, releasing your hands, opening your eyes. I hope you've enjoyed this short 3-round practice. It was quite intense in parts, and I think if you're giving it your best effort, you'll find that that is a very complete practice for your daily practice. We've had elements of balance, elements of side bending and twisting added to our forward and back bending that we normally have as well. Elements of strengthening and lengthening, of stability, of flexibility, and I hope that you've enjoyed it. And I hope to see you again. This is the first in a series of short practices. The next one, we will look at different back bending variations for our Sun Salutation. Namaste.